Hello, this is EJK, and I'm going to be going over this game between Jaedong and Flash, and Snute and Lilbow. TvZ on the map Dusk Towers. Spoiler alerts, I will be spoiling some parts of the game in order to make my points across. And one of the spoilers is that this is going to be a bio game versus a Muta-Baneling Ravager game. Dusk Towers is a very macro-oriented map. You can easily take your fourth base and defend it, and therefore it stimulates a larger economy based game in which you can make a lot more units. And one thing we see both teams I should say do to take advantage of the map is that they both open very economical, very greedy openers, but they still make a lot of units to keep them safe. For example, Jaedong and Flash opened up with a command center first build, and they will be following it up with a very fast 3 command centers and adding a liberator as well before going into bioproduction. Snute and Lilbow's build consists of going up to a very fast third hatch off of the first 100 gas. They pulled out of the extractor. That's not my mouse cursor, by the way. Mine's over here. But they pull out of the extractor and they go up to full 65 drone saturation on 3 bases before starting their lair, and they use the units Queens and Roaches and Speedlings to defend against any early game aggression that Flash and Jaedong might throw at them. In this case, not only are Flash and Jaedong playing fairly greedily by starting a third command center relatively fast, they also have defense to it by opening up liberators. So this build may seem fairly greedy, but for the most part, it's a generally safe build because you have the Liberator support, you have your 6 Hellions still, and you can afford a lot more bunkers. You can afford to pull SCVs as well because you have the fast third command center. Snute and Lilbow are adding on Queens in a little bit to start the creep spread. Before they add their additional Queens, they start the third hatch almost immediately, and now they're going to just be pumping out a bunch of Queens and drones for the coming minutes to power up their economy. It's a very well thought out build opener by Snute and Lilbow. I'm gonna probably guess that Snute has more to do with this than Lilbow in thinking about it. But Queens, Roaches, or Queens and Ravagers essentially will shut down any early game harassment. They do a fairly good job at shutting down the Liberators that we saw Snute and Lilbow, or that we saw Flash and Jaedong open with, or that we will see them open with. And so, I just want to point out that Snute and Lilbow's build is a very solid Zerg opener if you want to accelerate into the later stages of the game. There we see on the production tab additional queens being started. The creep tumors are started to being planted plentiful, and now after the queens, after a good amount of drones have been produced, the creep spread has now started as well. So one advantage of having so many queens is that you can push the creep spread very, very far if you have good enough mechanics to back it up. Oh, and for those of you wondering about the Jaedong Flash build order, or the Flash Jaedong build order I should say, I did copy down the build order and I will post it in my post for you guys to take a look at and use after you watch the game and try it out. So what's going on right now is the first phase, I would call, of the game. A scan reveals Roach Warren and I think only one Evo chamber, but it also reveals that there's not a gas taken in the main and that there's no layer in the main base. There could be a layer at the natural, and judging from the fact that there wasn't that one gas, the only thing that's Flashing Jaedong can infer is that Snute isn't going for a very gas heavy build, and so he's most likely going to be sticking to a mineral heavy economy for the most part. Is that my, no, that's not my mouse. So one of the things that they try to do to punish this greedy opener and to apply some pressure is to use the Liberator to try to get some damage done. However, 3 Ravagers will one-shot a Liberator, and Ravagers shoot fast enough so that if Ravagers shoot, they and Liberators are in Liberation mode, they will die. You cannot unsiege your Liberators faster than a Ravager's Corrosive Bile comes down. So, army movement wise, the Liberators aren't doing too much. They're just poking around, seeing what kind of unit comp that Snute and Lilbow have started. They're also able to push away only one Overlord. One good thing about the Zerg's gameplay is that they have Overlord spreads in all the dead airspace. And so they're able to, yeah, that's my mouse. They're able to see any sort of dropship play come in and also give a heads up of the positioning of the Liberators. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be going into a double medevac drop, seen shortly here. It hits at about 650. It's a good benchmark timing to have. And the Liberators, right now they're just pushing away Overlords so that the drop can go in undetected. Uh, right before I pointed out there was Overlords over here, the Liberators have pushed them back now. So now this drop is able to go by unscouted. And this is the first part of the attack. The second part is going to be with the Hellions and additional medevacs and Marines coming in. And of course you can do Liberator Harass like this. That wasted the Ravager's Corrosive Bile to deal with the Liberator. Snute and Lilbow's army is completely out of position because the Liberators were able to get rid of the Overlords. And now Flash and Jaedong are able to do a 3-pronged attack with 2 drops, one hitting the natural, another hitting the 4th base that was rallied across the map, and the Liberator harass in the main base. And Snute and Lilbow end up taking way too much damage that make a comeback almost impossible. So the Liberator opener and then the double medevacs and the 6 Hellions, they all added up to a 3-pronged attack that hit around the 7:15 minute mark on this map. Some excellent unit positioning or army movement positions by Flash and Jaedong, and Snute and Lilbow's army was not able to, or was not in position for them, and so they took more damage than they had to. One thing that I have to comment on about Snute and Lilbow's play is that they're building Corruptors. However, like the main reason it appears to build Corruptors is that they counter Liberators, right? But if you have made Ravagers, Ravagers can deal with Liberators in Liberation mode. Also, Flash and Jaedong don't make any additional Liberators after these medevacs as well. So these Corruptors are essentially a Dark style without the Roaches. And the Corruptors can't really do much harassment either because they're not mobile enough to move across the map and harass buildings while defending against things. Mutalisks are better at defending against drops as well, and the only real benefit I see Corruptors serving is that they don't die to the Liberators as fast. However, Jaedong and Flash didn't make any Liberators. They instead added on 3 more barracks after their 3rd base and added 3 more tech labs. So you can see on the production tab, they're producing a total of 4 Marines, or 4 Marauders. They just keep doing double-pronged attacks that this Muta Baneling or Corruptor Baneling army with Ravagers can't really deal with. Actually, I don't think they're doing a double-pronged attack. They're just pushing straight. No, they are. They're getting set up. Can't see the minimap very well. So I don't think this unit composition is the most ideal unit composition by the Zerg player. I think a heavier Ravager force along with Mutas would have done exactly what this current army does, except offer more defense by having more Ravagers and use the Corrosive Bile. Because although it's easy to split from the Corrosive Bile, they zone your army out similar to force fields. And you're not able to stim in and snipe the Ravagers off. You're forced to back off and wait for the Corrosive Bile to land and then to hit. Flashing Jaedong already harassing a 5th base. They're thinking so far ahead that they're harassing a base that doesn't yet have, that isn't even saturated yet. That's actually the 4th base now because the 4th base died again. And the game is quickly brought to an end as the snowball effect becomes too big and the bio players are able to take the overwhelming advantage and close the series out 2-0. So in the future, I do have a couple other things planned. If you guys have any videos from tournaments that are not behind a paywall that you would like me to analyze for you, then just leave a link in the comment section and I will get to that as soon as I find the time for it. If you guys also would like to, let me know if you would like to see anything more specific in these analyses as well. I'm always open to feedback about making the best quality stuff as possible. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.